But when they're babies, it's like that's what they do. Don't feel like you're like less of a parent because your kid has a breakdown in the middle of some restaurant or something. That's just how it is.
All right, so I got this. Cocktails with Dads. The Dadtales. This. Oh, Ben went high on us. So you guys are guessing. You guys, this is like, try and guess the name of this cocktail. I just looked it up.
Breast milk.
Yeah, the only like cream cocktail I know is like I think a Brandy Alexander. That's what I guessed. But I don't even know what's in that.
Whiskey and milk. Lemons? Hummentashen.
Human what? Osneamans? A Sneaky Pete. Never heard of it. I never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of it?
That is a good show.
It's like coffee. It's just coffee. It's like a white Russian, but with like coffee.
Nice. Well, I made a bourbon and lemonade with some homemade lemonade, but I got this giant. I did some work for a friend of mine, and it was like super easy, so I didn't charge him because it was only about 30 minutes. So he sent me this bottle of Basil Hayden.
That's sweet.
Nice. And lemonade?
Yeah, I just made some lemonade, put the bourbon in there. It's good.
Now, when you say homemade lemonade, you don't have a lemon tree, right?
No, I just mean that I mixed up some lemon juice and water and put some sugar in it.
I everything, I got allergies like crazy because everything is blooming and our lemons are coming in right now. So as was like California.
You really have a lemon tree.
I literally can see it out my window.
All right, let's see, everyone. So let's start with a sip.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. So today's topic, cocktails with dads. We're talking about what advice you would give to new dads. Big question. We're seasoned veterans now with two and two, all hitting like the three to 8 year old marks or even more with Matt. So we know what's up. We're qualified to give advice to other people while we're drinking. So we put together a few quick questions. The first one is, if there was one thing you could tell your young self about fatherhood, now, what would it be? What would you tell your young self about fatherhood? Prosy, start it.
Drink it in, like enjoy every moment, and those mornings and nights that you miss, like they go away. So just enjoy them as much as you can, and it's okay to be angry with your kids or to not like them at times. Like you shouldn't feel like a bad dad because of that.
Ben?
Yeah, I think I would say that it's not something that is going to add to your life that you live. Is going to completely change the life that you have. And it's going to take patience and selflessness that are impossible for you to probably imagine. And while I love my kids more than anything, I often find myself hating being a parent, which is probably similar to what Matt was saying.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you?
I would say, be patient, be nice, but also, don't forget about the wife in it. I think that's a hard element that nobody talks about. That is like, you can be patient with your kids and it's really easy to understand, but you can lose patience with your partner really quickly because they're adults. So I think that's one thing I would tell myself. But with the kids, I don't know, try and be like as present as possible. It's easy to pick up the phone. It's easy to turn on the TV for them. So trying to be like present and, like you said, enjoy the little things, because they that's what they remember, and that's what kind of marks their relationship and their bond with you. Even little stupid things, and that becomes your thing, and they'll never forget it. And that leads to a healthy relationship with people later on. Nice. I like that. So number 2, yeah, and then also cry yourself to sleep as many times as possible a week. Number 2, how would you explain fatherhood to an alien? This is like, I guess you're simplifying it to like, how would you explain it to your grandmother kind of deal, even though your grandmother could explain it to you. So how would you explain fatherhood to an alien, Pearlsy?
Almost like what Ben said before. It's like you have to be incredibly, for the first time in your life, 25 years in or whatever it is, you have to care less about yourself than something else, and that's the strangest feeling when your own self-interests have to be put second after 25 years of the opposite. So it's like this little human being that's more important than you are.
Ben?
Yeah, I don't know. It's it's hard to explain to whether an alien or to even a regular person who doesn't have kids. It's all encompassing and it's overwhelming, and there's nothing that you've done in your life so far that is probably requires the time, effort, and attention that this requires.
Oh yeah, that's for
And
sure.
how old? So I was 35. How old were you? You were like 27 or 28?
I was 30.
30?
We just turned 30.
I was
9 and I'm about to turn 40.
32, 33, something. Yeah, I think you taking the baby. I don't know. Are we talking newborn?
One of you guys
Newborn?
had a newborn
I
at
think
my
it's-
wedding. That was you, Jeff?
Yeah, we had Sherelle at your wedding, feeding her in the stroller
Yeah.
while I was officiating, throwing it down. Yeah, to explain it to an alien, it's a really fun job and a rewarding job. It is kind of like a job, but it's like, a really important job, and it's like shaping the mind and thoughts of somebody and you can do it really easily and without effort, or you can make an extra effort and it really shows, I think.
How do I get that no effort part?
I mean, I think a lot of people do it, and we probably are guilty of it recently too. It's just, you could pass it off. You can pass off a lot of things. I think it's getting easier to do that as they get older, though. Like, you can send them to the grandparents. They're at school a lot of the time. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can choose your moments. You can choose to put them in activities or go like a little bit extra with them. But it's, they'll notice it. I think even if, and I've been guilty of, like slack off a couple hours on the weekend, and they're like, they notice it.
Oh yeah.
You guys have been there too.
Wait till they're even older. It's like, I'm watching golf all day. They're like, whatever, dad. Go, dude. Yeah.
I think I feel like I already know that it's going to be the exact opposite. Like when they're teenagers and young adults, and I just want to talk to them all the time and hear about their day, they're not going to say a word to me. And now when I want just 2 minutes by myself, they won't leave you alone. I know it's just, I know I'm trying to like live in the moment and enjoy it because I know it's not going to last, but kids are just opposite of what you need them to be, I think.
At that exact moment.
I think like being present, being at the house and acknowledging them and being around them is also work. It's a big amount of work, and it's not to be discounted. Like I think we also, curfew. We also like pressure ourselves a lot, I think, to do so much more. Like there's all these other people talking about how they're doing all these things and all these things on Instagram and social media that are like, I built a roller coaster house in the backyard, like in like in 30 seconds.
And they beat their
that's-
kids 5 minutes later when they
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, or they were like spending the whole time videotaping it instead of actually like hanging out with them. So yeah, it's I think new dads, they don't need to like pressure themselves. Even being like just present and caring and there is really good also. All right. So we got two more, I think. What am I supposed to do when baby cries? These are for the new ones, newborns, the Lances out there.
It's legit. Like I've heard once that the sound of their baby's cry is designed specifically for your ear to bother you more. Like other people don't give a shit if your kid cries up to a certain point.
I think that's the opposite.
Don't feel embarrassed. Like don't feel embarrassed if your kid cries. It's more about how you feel about it. And it's okay, but it also drives me absolutely nuts when they're whining just to get like now at this age when they cry. But when they're babies, it's like that's what they do. Don't feel like you're like less of a parent because your kid has a breakdown in the middle of some restaurant or something. That's just how it is. Ben?
Yeah, I guess it's two different things. Like when they're a little baby, when that's all they can do, it's tough. And I remember like the first night we had Natalie home, like our first night being parents, she cried for it seemed like 12 straight hours, and it was horrible. And there's nothing you can do but like try to stay calm. Now that they're a little bit older, if they're having a tantrum or fighting, it depends. Like if we're in the house, sometimes I'll just walk away for like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
But this is also a time where usually if they're crying, then I'm frustrated as well about something. And then it's usually if they start crying, then it's a good, it's like a time where I usually just like sort of look at myself for a minute and then I can calm myself down, or I can like just show some patience, even if that's not what I'm feeling. So it's usually like a signifier to me to just like try to calm everything down. And we haven't had to deal with the like grocery store tantrum in like a year and a half. And I don't think we were taking them to the grocery store too much before that either, because it's just like, why even do that scenario if you can avoid it?
Yeah, for us, it was rough early on also, but you kind of just learn. I had just walked in the room. You kind of just learn if what the cry is for when they're little, and it takes you a while to learn that. But it's essentially like three things: like they've dumped themselves, or they're hungry, or something else, or they're gassy, right? I think that's, or they're sleepy.
You're the same way though.
There's like 4 channels. There's only 4 channels. You just got to figure out, go through the channels instead of like freaking out about what it is. Go through the channels and figure out which one it is. If that none of them work, then something else is it usually was not anything else. Like we had a lot of stuff, but it was like always not eating well, or like they were hungry, or because they weren't like feeding well, or gassy because their stomachs were hurting or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes some time. But when you're in it and you're like for like an hour, you kind of just bang your head against the wall. Yeah, it helps to take a little break. One drink helps. But yeah, it does help to walk away, get some space, and then switch back in, like take a time out. Last one is, what kind of baby proofing should I do?
People worry about that. It's like just getting ready for it. What can a dad do when mom's getting ready and like getting the nursery ready and all that stuff? It's like, is there things that dad can do? It's like, in some cases, in our case, it was moving. What is it to get the house ready for a kid, and what can you do? I would say look around your house and figure out what looks like it's going to have issues. It might be that glass table or that video game system you haven't cleaned up. Like it's got to be like kids can't get into it at some point, but you don't have to worry about that right when they're like newborns. Mostly like when they're toddlers. Ben?
Yeah, you gotta use those like the furniture things, the anchors, like on everything, like your dressers, anchor those things to the wall, like your bar.
Spoken like the true architect.
Yeah, anything that can get pulled over, you got to anchor that to the wall, and then maybe put in some outlet covers. But otherwise, I mean, you're never gonna be able to baby proof your house enough that they're not gonna find something to kill themselves. And if you make everything safe, then they're just gonna like jump off the chairs or climb up on the table. They just seem like programmed to do the most dangerous thing that they can set their eyes on in the room.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing, like anchoring. Not that I've anchored everything, honestly, but keeping an eye out for it. And then, yeah, things that can get knocked over, sharp objects, that
Get
sort
in
of
the
thing.
habit of cooking on the back burners, not the front burners,
Yeah,
which I don't do a good
Yeah.
job of, but I try to think about it.
we've been doing
my kids how
that
to
more
use-
recently, putting
I
knives
was
back all far away.
I'm teaching my kids how to use knives now, like legit, like they'll cut with me. It's the most terrifying thing in the world. It's like, they have to learn it at some point, but it just makes me cringe. We like cut potatoes last night and I was just like, oh my God.
You gotta teach the fingers in.
Yeah.
Like this.
I got some
dude,
ensues.
Bonus question. When's the right time to have another kid?
There's never the right time. Totally. I mean, like you never can prepare yourself fully when we're like, yes, it's the perfect time. You just got to do it.
1 year.
Babies
Well,
is
what's the
fun.
recommendation as far as like having the siblings not be too far apart? Everyone kind of uses that kind of as a judge, and we were thinking about that and like, oh yeah, we're all 1 year or so apart. So, and then we're not ready after 1 year at all. We waited 3. So yeah, never gonna be ready. Ben?
No, the only thing that I would do is like I would time it with when you can start kindergarten. Which when you're not having a kid, you're not even remotely thinking about this. But both my kids missed the cutoff, so now they got to both go to preschool for a whole extra year before they can start public school.
Which
So
costs money in some places.
yes, no, yes, it costs a lot of money here. It costs more for both of them in preschool than our mortgage.
Yeah. I mean, some states got that universal pre-K though. So it's like if you live in DC.
Yeah, it's not like when in your life, but it's when in the year should you have a kid. So
I
make
agree.
sure they're born by like, I don't know, like September or something, or
It was October. It's perfect.
yeah,
She's like the oldest kid in her class. It's great.
yeah. Then they can drive first, and then it's good. It's good for them growing up to be the oldest.
All right. I think that's all we got.
It's like the most serious one yet.
Good one. Yeah. We'll go casual next one.
Yeah, we got to bring it down. We got to talk about
Natty Lights.
something else.